cute shows here because I don't know if you know that, but we have a caster. He's a very huge fanboy of Nocturne, especially in the mid lane. So talk me through this pick and why you thought it was a good decision to pick the champion here.
就主要是他们先把我4个中单把英雄池被针对了。如果我又是那种英雄池比较深的选手吧，就有一种大招就可以用。
So actually in the ban pick phase, the opponent's team have banned out 4 mid champions, but actually I have a very deep champion pool, so that's why I've just pick up my secret weapon.
Wow, and it was a very good secret weapon here. But tell me more about the meta mid lane, because we've been used to seeing kind of the same champions every time. So what do you think about the meta mid lane right now, and how deep can it get?
这版本强制中单是比较固定吧，但是强制中单被ban的话，可能就有一些新的东西。
Actually, I think in current meta, there's a couple of champions that are very strong, that's suitable to this meta. But if those champions are banned out, I think it's a good time to pick out some new stuffs.
Oh, which is good. You always have opportunities here. But now, talking about top esports, you are still undefeated here in the World Championship, and so is Damwon. You guys look to be the 2 strongest team in the tournament. So what do you think about Damwon, and why do they look so strong?
就感觉地道巨是支就比较全面的队友吧，就他们实力也特别强。
I feel like DWG is an all-round team. They're very strong in every single aspects.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, when watching them, it gets very crazy here. But here against the RX, it looks like you had the situation in your hands. You took the Baron, but then afterwards, a fight happened top lane and you all died. Did you think that DRX, I'm sorry, could come back at this point in the game?
就当时就因为我们的一个判断失误吧，就没算他们有多少人。但其实我们这种后期还是优势的，就也没特别慌。
Actually, at that point, we made a wrong decision. We are not sure about the number of the opponents at that time, but I think we are not that worried about it because our comps is very strong in the late phase.
I agree with you. Well, very convincing victory here, Knight. Thank you very much for the interview. And Wendy, thank you so much for the translation, as always.
So how do you feel right now? Because you seems to be very excited right now.
So it feels pretty crazy. We haven't played on stage for a really long time. So actually just like sitting on stage, even if there's no crowd, it feels like completely different. And especially going up against like an LPL team, at the first match, I was like super nervous. And I was like, even going to the game, I was like shaking a little bit and was like, yeah, very nervous, much more nervous than normal. So to have the game like a win and the way it went, it was just like, it was just a crazy game.
So actually during the draw, Jankos felt a bit anxious about facing the Vietnamese jungler, but after this matchup, he's able to get the victory against SOFM. So will he feel a bit relieved after this matchup?
I think so, yeah. I think we have always had like kind of bad results against both Vietnam and LPL, so it feels really good that we actually won this game. And I think Jankos is like super happy with the win because like every game matters in like this best of ones. So we might just get like a much better seed and we might be able to secure first seed, we might be able to secure second seed, and just making it out of groups is like really important.
So actually we want to talk about the last team fight, like around the Sunnis Nexus. All your teammates were died, but you keep like hitting the tower. So how do you feel at that time?
So the game was like very difficult because they got the Ocean Soul. So we were having like a hard time, but when we got the Elder and the Baron, we were like, okay, we just have to end the game. And unfortunately the Elder ran out like as we were fighting the last fight, so we actually ended up losing the fight. So then my mindset was just like trying to kill the turret so we could like backdoor. And I think that's why they also were trying to end afterwards, because they knew when they only have like 1 health on the turret, it's really easy for like TFL to backdoor or our TPs and stuff like this. So it was just about putting pressure on their base so we could get like an advantage like that.
好，谢谢。
Thank you.
Thank you.
So first of all, congratulations on today's victory, and for currently G2 is able to grab the 2 consecutive victory. So how do you feel about the current team's condition?
Well, we are 2-0 and we did beat Suning yesterday, which was, well, I guess the favorites coming into this group alongside us. So I'm pretty happy with the results. I think how we played, however, yesterday we were very stressed as we haven't played on stage since Spring Split Week 8, I think, in our own region. So it's been a very long time since we played on stage. I think there was like a lot of nerves. This game we just played, I felt like I could have done way more with my lead. I think I didn't play very well, but I was set up by my team. So I didn't look too bad, but I think I could have done way more. So I think we have a long way to go, but pretty happy with the 2-0 nevertheless.
So actually, the level 1 invention for today's game is quite crucial, and you guys able to kill the Mordekaiser on the top lane. So what happened there? What's the game strategy?
Well, we basically just looked at how they normally position level 1, and we saw that, well, their top laner usually likes to stand in the bush they're standing in, and they haven't really been punished before, so he would probably most likely go there again. So we came up with a level 1 inspired by, I guess, our friends in Europe who did the same. Some of the teams, they like to do that level 1, so we just took it and we used it against him. Felt like it could be pretty free cool.
好，我们也是感谢 Wonder 接受我们采访，也恭喜杜拿下了这场比赛的胜利。我们的赛后
Quite excited, and you even made a very happy gesture in the fanfic stage when you have chosen the own. So could we know the reason for that?
So before this game, Genji's Life made an interview where he was saying that he looked forward to playing against me, and I saw him across the stage, and I waved at him, and he waved back, and he was smiling a lot. So I was very excited to play, and I was making jokes of myself of I'll meet you in the bot lane. Thinking of teleport ganking him and whatnot, so I was enjoying myself a lot, and my jungler was in good spirits, so he made a joke like you should do the Ornn gesture because we're gonna lock in Ornn anyway, and I'm like, that's a good idea. I think it will lift up the spirits of our team, and then I think the enemy team will. It helps with the mental, I think.
So you guys seem to target on the opponent's bot lanes, and you even killed Ruler 3 times consecutively in the very early phase. So could we know the general strategy from you guys?
This was not planned. This was not a strategy. It was purely because of our 2v2 profits. Our bot lane managed to kill 2 versus 2 and burn summoner spells, and then set up for a tower dive, all in a strictly 2v2 manner. So thanks to our hard work and effort from our bottom lane, we were able to set up plays, tower dives, and then eventually use teleport to attack their bottom lane. And at that point of the game, it felt natural. So I would say it was, I don't want to be rude, but the bot gift.
So after this victory, you guys have a 2-1 scoreline, and if the LGD got the victory in the next game, Group C seems to be a real death group. So do you have any prediction towards your chance of getting group out of the group stage?
I think my prediction would be that we have to make sure that we're playing the team that gets Ornn seems to be most comfortable in the game. So when Ornn will be removed in the next week, which I imagine will happen because of the importance of the champion in our group right now, I think our group will be shaken up a little bit more and it will look very different.
Simon Hylissang is with me to talk about the game. Thank you very much for joining me. You looked way more on the same page compared to last time. Would you agree? And can you explain what was different from the game you played last time?
I actually am not sure what went different apart from us stomping bot lane. I think we played more as a team, and also the fact that me and Reckless managed to kill them level 1 and keep snowballing on them kind of helped the team. And I think also we moved better on the map and communicated way better than we did the game against LGD. So I think we're in a good path, and I'm really happy that we managed to win today, especially because we played with Graves, and Graves is, in my eyes, cursed champion for us. It's a champion that has been not with great success. In fact, we haven't won a single game, and today we managed to win, so I couldn't believe afterwards, because I was thinking about it. I'm like, oh my god, we won with Graves, what, really? And yeah, I think we played way better today than yesterday.
A very convincing win indeed. Yeah, in fact, Selfmade can be proud of his performance here on Graves, but talking more about the meta and the way the game is played right now, you managed to win on blue side, which has been the most successful side of the map so far at Worlds. Do you know why? It's a question I asked in playing already, but it's something we keep on seeing. So why so many blue side win rate?
I'm not really sure, but today we decided to go with the Ornn first pick because we got beaten by it, and we came to the conclusion that it's maybe too strong of a champion on stage at least. And I think maybe that's one of the reasons, but I'm not really sure why blue side is winning more on stage rather than red side.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Something to keep an eye on, though. But okay, talking more about Fnatic. I guess that it's not the results you expected, maybe. I feel like you could have won against LGD, but you'll have a second time to face them in a couple days. You will get to take some rest days now, figure out what you're missing. So tell me how you come in ready next time on stage.
Honestly, I don't think we need to do anything special. I just feel like we need to be comfortable with the picks we are playing, and I think that's it, confident in each other, and play our style and not like follow anyone's meta or like picks. I think that's the Fnatic strength when we have our own picks and we are comfortable with each other. I think we will always perform like better than most of the teams or anyone. So I think that's the key.
Okay, you were mentioning your playstyle, drafts, and everything. So I want to ask you a question, Hili, because here Genji banned Thresh. I know you're an excellent Thresh, but I also know that this champion has been banned a lot at Worlds so far. Although it is not a very successful champion on the Rift when it's picked. We don't know why.
I think for us, for Fnatic, Thresh is often banned that we don't really have the practice, or we don't really think about having the champ because it's very often banned against us, and maybe like not having too much practice on the champ is influencing us, because I feel like the champion is very strong, but it's also fine to play without practice, but I feel like it can be extremely strong pick if you know how to play with the champion strengths rather than just let him be and scale. I feel like he can be very powerful early game and obnoxious pick, so
All right.
you kind of need to know what you're doing with the champion. Then
Jankos, congratulations on your win, and would you say hello to your audience?
Hello.
Congratulations on the win again. Before this match, well, actually for Matchy is a do or die match. So before heading into this match, what was your mentality look like?
We didn't really care much. I mean, we didn't think about Matchy. We just thought about ourselves, and we want to secure the first seed in the group. Of course, that means facing Sunning later on today, but I think we just wanted to win, so we did our best to do that.
Matchy did really well for taking the early objectives like the 3 dragons. So what was the moment that you felt like you can take the game?
Well, I felt like we made a big mistake around the Infernal Drake, where we chose to stay for place instead of just hitting it together, and that kind of gifted them the game and Drake, and that's why they got 3 of them. But we also knew that we have a very, very fed Lucian, so as long as we have team fights where he can hit, he will just 1v9 the game, right? So everyone else was just like a CC and making sure he doesn't die, and then yeah, Caps will just kill everyone. So the usual G2 strat.
With this win, you're in a really close race with Suning, like for the first seat in our group, in your group. So what do you think what the things that you should focus on for the next game?
Well, I think it would be really fun if Suning can lose 1 game, so that we can lose to them, and then we can have like a 2 more games, so a tiebreaker. But besides that, I think we just focus on ourselves again. I think Suning is a very, very powerful team, but I think we can.
The game was night and day compared to what we've seen on Wednesday. You decided to ban a lot of junglers during the draft. What did you think it was the good solution here?
I knew that question was coming. So we thought that Broxah is most comfortable with Graves, and we also thought that Team Liquid drafts are good around Graves. So we decided to ban that out, and then the rest is history. Like the rest of the bans were like really random because we didn't really expect them to, I mean, go for 5 with jungle. We thought they would pick Lee Sin 2-3 or 1-2-3 like at some point, but they didn't. And apparently coaching staff said that he played these champs in solo queue, so he just banned the champs that we did, and then we just kind of went with it.
That makes sense, but honestly, I'm just poking you here because you had an amazing early game, and to think about what you said the other day during our longer interview, I remember we talked about the Volibear pick, the fact that you didn't find your marks within the meta here, so you went for the Volibear. You've been very proactive in the early game, helping out your lanes. What is necessary to play like this as a jungler at Worlds?
Well, I don't think it's like a correct way of playing the game. I mean, we saw Matchy do it too, and I believe that you can get some advantages early game, but against a lot of farm junglers, you will just get out-farmed. I think that the matchup against Hecarim makes sense because you can pressure him early game, like which I did, right? Just went to his jungle straight away, and then he couldn't really farm, and that way I didn't fall behind. But let's say you pick it against Nidalee Graves or Lilia, you would probably just fall like really, really behind in farm, but we kind of knew that he doesn't play Nidalee, and then we kind of also knew that we are banning Graves, and then Lilia probably wouldn't play it, but we also decided to ban it. So the Volibear was a flex pick, and then we decided to put the jungle. I think it was a good idea. I also felt like I wanted to play it very, very safe against Team Liquid because I felt like if we play the old style, we will never lose to that team. And we did kind of play the old style where I could focus on helping lanes and they could focus on like playing their game, which is like how we look the strongest, right? When I can help them early. And then I think the most important part was we didn't actually lose level 1, which happens to us like every single game almost, like either lose with level 1 or level 2. So I'm very happy that we could like go past 3 minutes in game, and then I kind of knew the game is over when we went past 3 minutes without like dying or losing a camp.
I agree with you, and I'm very happy you mentioned level 1. This is something we will be looking out for G2 later today during Young Games. But for now, thank you very much, Jankos, for the interview, and good luck.
Congratulations on this win, because especially you took a revenge on TL. So how are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling good because it was a bit nerve-wracking going into it because we already lost to them once. So losing to them twice would have been very embarrassing. So it was more relief than much else. Yeah.
Compared to the last game, it seems like what I want to know what parts of the game that you work on to make this a very clean victory today.
Well, we fixed our draft a bit. We weren't weaker level 1, so that was a bonus because they couldn't invade us level 1 like last time and win the game. And we also got a lot of counter picks on every lane, so yeah, the draft just went well because we were red side, so we could get favorable matchups in every lane.
Tell me about your team fight around the Baron pit, around 26 minutes. Set on TL, so they actually find a very good chance to ult on to have an engagement on your comp, but you managed to have an ace of TL. So what was the communication was like among you guys?
Yeah, we just saw Set flashing in and stunning 3 people, so I was a bit scared, and I was just hoping that I would W the Ashe with Tahm Kench. And at first I thought I misclicked, but then I was like, okay, I actually ate the Ashe, so the team fight was won as soon as Ashe survived. And then, yeah, we just tried to call out all the targets that had no flashes, and then we tried to kill them, and yeah, they were just much weaker than us, so the team fight was pretty easy to play.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, congrats, and good luck with the upcoming event.
We need to talk about the game. Congratulations first, Broxah. I mean, when you look at everything for TL in group so far, this game looked more in line to what can be expected from you when it comes to drafting, core JJ on roaming, engaged champs. Talk me through the draft and also the execution setups here. Who made you successful?
First of all, this is this is an interesting interview for me to do. I've done some emotional interviews in the past, but right now I'm almost shaking. This win was so important. I was so nervous coming into the game, and I'm so happy we managed to beat G2. There's still hope. But yeah, in terms of drafts, I think there's no doubt that the draft we had yesterday was a difficult one to play, and Suning abused it in any way possible. We barely got to even play the game. And coming into today, being 0-2, we had a serious team discussion, and we decided to change the mindset a bit, because in general, I think we didn't come in with the right mindset, the right preparation, and the right approach to the first 2 games, and I think that showed. But now we just came into it saying, guys, this is do or die. There's like at this point, we shouldn't even feel pressured anymore. We have nothing to lose anymore. We just go in there, play the game, fight them. You know, we know G2 wants to fight. We're just going to fight them back. We're going to outplay them, and we're going to win playing their game. And it seemed like it worked.
Yeah, it worked, but it's interesting, your approach. I want to know more about the mindset and everything that led you to this victory today, because coming after play-in, I thought that you guys were riding a momentum, right? You were super dominant in play-in, very aggressive. So what were the main differences between play-ins and the main stage and the difficulties you've been through?
I'm not sure what exactly the main difference is. Honestly, I think part of what happened the past 2 days also happened in play-ins against the INTC, because in that game it was kind of similar. We never had the ball in our hands, so to speak, and they just made all the players, and we kept trying to respond, but we never found our footing, and that kind of happened these previous 2 days. And yeah, now we were just like, oh, guys, this can't be right. This can't happen anymore. And we just came in, you know, with a fresh mindset. As I said, nothing to lose anymore. So we just go hard or go home, hope for the best. And our draft was a bit different, sure. I think the draft might be part of it, but I think how we played as a team, how we played individually was just as much of a big part.
When you think about group stage as a whole, draft, execution, in-game setups and everything, what makes a difference this year? Is it more about the draft? Is it more about how you play afterwards as a team? What do you point as the most important aspect in the meta and the way the game is shaped right now?
I think the draft has always been an important factor, but right now the way that teams approach the draft and approach the meta is pretty different than the previous worlds. Right now, it's the draft is a lot centered around farming junglers, playing around the jungler, putting the jungler in a position to carry. And oftentimes in the past, it has been a bit different, where the world's meta would be like ganking junglers, or where you would play around a specific lane. But here it's a bit of a different style. And it's a bit different than how we used to play over in North America. So we've had a bit of an adaptation to do. But luckily enough, we've also shown that we are capable of playing the style, and we just need to become a lot more consistent at it really fast, because we don't have many more games to go in group stage.
Yeah, but you have one day off to rest now and get ready for the second round robin, Broxah. So I wish you good luck for that and looking forward to seeing